Hi, today I'm going to show you how I install miniature shiplap. I installed some in my 1/12 scale miniature dollhouse, and on my tiny house build, I wanted to add a little shiplap in there too. So you'll start by taking the wall or, whatever the piece. I've also done some shiplap on my dollhouse island. So take the piece and you're going to give it one even coat of whatever color you're going to use for the shiplap. And this will make sense later in the video. And don't put that paint away quite yet, because you're going to take and you're going to paint the boards that will be your shiplap. And these are 1/16 by 1/2 inch by 24 inches basswood. And I only use basswood because balsa wood's just not strong enough. So you're going to paint the front and the sides, leaving the back bare. Make sure too that with this basswood, they imprint a barcode. Just make sure you make that the back side. Ask me how I know that, because I've gotten to the point where I'm like, oh gosh, and it's harder to cover with paint, or you have to sand it off and it just takes that much longer. And this is where the fun begins. You'll need some turbo tacky glue. And the turbo tacky glue is key because it really does dry twice as quick as regular tacky glue. And this is important because this process is not exactly quick. It's pretty time consuming to cut all these little pieces and glue it to your project. So turbo tacky glue, and you'll find the link below this video. Don't worry about perfection in the cut of your board right here in this step, because we're going to come back later and we're going to do a little trimming and sanding. Now we're going to go ahead and lay a bead of the turbo tacky glue across your board from end to end, and then you're going to spread it evenly with your finger. Don't use a brush. The glue dries too fast. Just use your finger. You're going to have gluey, sticky fingers, but that's okay. That's what our paper towel's for. You'll kind of wipe the excess off. And it's really important to get the glue evenly distributed across the whole board. If you don't, you will have pieces of your board that don't stick, or they possibly could warp. This is only 1/16 thickness, so you don't want warping. It'll be noticeable. So you just go ahead and you glue that down, and you're going to press and hold your board down. And then you're going to come back with one of those toothpicks and you're going to wipe off any excess that may have squeezed underneath the board. This gives you a nice clean finish with no glue stuck out the sides. And this is where those toothpicks are going to serve a multi-purpose, because when you start stacking your boards, you need a consistent gap in between your boards if you want your finished project to look neat and clean. So once I lay this next board down, I'm once again going to run the toothpick right between the boards to not only remove any excess glue, because you don't want excess glue in your gaps, but also to space the size of the gap so that they're consistent. And I didn't mention earlier that sometimes when we paint, the paint spills over to the backside, creating ridges, and you don't want that. You want an even surface. So sometimes you just have to take a little sandpaper and just smooth off the backside. You don't want those ridges of paint, because what that does is create an uneven surface, and therefore your board won't lay flat. Now I'm going to go ahead and lay the long piece across from side to side. And there's a reason why I'm laying this board before I lay the smaller boards to finish that right side. And that is so that I can micro adjust the gaps between the boards on that right side. Now I'm going to lay these last 4 boards fairly quickly, and that's because I don't want them to dry before I micro adjust them. And what I mean by that is making sure that the gaps between the boards look even. And once all the boards are dry, you're going to go ahead and cut away any excess with an X-Acto knife. Along like the doorway here, I have some excess, and there'll be just like little pieces that maybe hang over the edge a little that you'll go ahead and you'll just trim those away. And then you're going to give everything a light sanding to smooth everything out, and you're done. I hope you're having a great day.